Welcome to Tom Papa's Come to Papa.
Everybody, welcome to another edition of Come to Papa, your favorite podcast among all the other podcasts. We're so glad you're with us today. Paul's here.
Hi, Tom.
With Diet Coke in a can. What's going on? Usually you're there with the big gulp cup. You got tons. You got 32 ounces of Diet Coke on the ready, filled, packed with ice.
I brought that once, and your wife made fun of me, so I never did it again.
Every week you have it.
What?
Every single week.
No.
Yes.
No, that's just a gulp. That's a small one.
You come with the big plastic thing filled with soda.
It's not as big as you're imagining it is.
This is how I know it's a problem. This is how I know it's a drug problem, because you get defensive whenever we talk about it.
No, I do it on purpose. I get the small one. When
you came over for the Yankee game last week, I asked how many you had had, and you were like all dodgy. Like, it's just this one, maybe two.
Oh no,
it's okay. Remember. It's like asking a smoker, like, how much do you smoke, and they get all kind of their back gets up because they know it's a problem.
No, I have an app telling me when to drink water. That's a problem.
Thank you all for joining us. Here we are in the throes of fall. The Halloween decorations are being dragged out from the storage units. They're being scattered around the house slowly. Some people are coming out, guns a-blazing in my neighborhood. There's one guy who has a complete light show going on at night. It's very upsetting. But the problem in L.A. is a lot of people like do those things for a living. Mm-hmm. Like you'll see someone like who's a makeup artist. Or a lighting guy for the movies or whatever, and they turn that in. This is a comedian's house, so it's a lot of haphazard attempts at humor just kind of scattered about.
No, you have a bunch of cool stuff. You get inventive. Mm-hmm. There's skeletons in lounge chairs, and
we look good.
You got the dog and the medical cone.
Yeah, we took a medical cone and we have all skeletons. It's mainly skeletons here, so you got human skeletons, dog skeletons, cat skeletons, all the rest of it. And that was one creative thing my wife did, took a cone from one of our animals and put it around the skeleton decoration.
So it can't lick itself.
We do have to step up our lighting game. I didn't really think that through. And for the first time, I was actually unwinding all of the Halloween lights. And I was like, it's really amazing how far we've come. I remember my father, like, every time breaking out lights and they wouldn't work, and it was like almost like a hacky life joke. Trying to find the bulb that works. I'm like, They really got it nailed down. Like, these things have lasted 20 years, and I plug it in, and of course, half of them didn't work.
Yeah, I mean, now, if you go into any store now, like if you go to CVS, they've got like crazy inventive, like, they can spell boo on the side of your house.
Yeah.
Like, they have stuff that everyone wanted to make, like, 30 years ago.
Yeah.
They're like, we should be able to do this stuff, and then maybe, I don't know, the 3D printers or
that's something. What I was just going to say. Now we can because of 3D printing. So here we are. Paul and I are heading to Irvine, the Irvine Improv for this Thursday, Friday, and Saturday for all of you Southern California fans. We're also going to Thousand Oaks next weekend and San Luis Obispo.
Yes.
Then we head off to Kansas City and Austin and Dallas and a whole bunch of places. October is a big, big touring month for us. So go to tompapa.com and look up all those dates. Also, Live From Here is back on the air, and we did our first show last week in San Francisco at Hardly Strictly Bluegrass. An amazing show. We have a new cast. Mike Yard, Holly Laurent, Greg Hess, Serena Brooks. Very funny people, very funny sketches. The music was off the charts, as it always is. Lindsey Buckingham was there.
Whoa.
playing 3 solo things on his acoustic guitar.
That's cool.
You know, it is just an amazing thing. Like when somebody walks out there completely alone with just a guitar in this field filled with thousands of people. Excuse me. And just completely takes over.
Yeah.
Like he has so much power. You're like, all right, this is a genius. This is transcending what you normally see.
Right.
Like with great people. Like people that, would blow us away and you completely be in awe of. And you're like, wow, that guy's great. And then someone like Lindsey Buckingham walks out and it's just up it. You go past 11.
Right.
So great. I couldn't. Yeah. Just his guitar playing, you felt like there were more than 3 people playing guitar at the same time.
Yeah.
And it's just him.
That's when I think I told you I was watching. There's some documentary and Alice Cooper was like, you think that there's hundreds of guitar players and you just have to get discovered. He's like, there's 4 really good ones and everyone knows who they are.
That's so great. Yeah.
And it's like, how do you not think that Lindsey Buckingham is good after seeing him play like one song?
Oh, it was powerful. And, so like low key, I didn't get to really hang with him or talk to him. But I just watched him move on the side of the stage and just like no entourage, just kind of rolls in just like a regular dude and just completely rips it apart. And it's just, my God, just so powerful. I wish I could have, downloaded a couple of the songs that he played, and it's like, you got to see it live.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
That always sucks, too, when you see somebody kill it, like, live.
Yeah.
And then when you go to the record, it's like, oh, it doesn't have any of that stuff.
That raw power.
Especially if it's, like, a big band.
Yeah, exactly.
Are you guys leaving your garage now?
No, he's still there. We'll have to pause when I have to say goodbye.
They're turning Tom's Tesla into a SpaceX ship that can go to the moon.
Yeah, my door handle needed repair. And Aaron Foley, our good friend Aaron Foley, friend of the show, has their own great podcast, Sports Without Balls, which is definitely worth checking out. She came and did stand-up and, outdoors in a hillbilly festival. Not the ideal environment.
Right.
And just a pro completely.
That's great.
Didn't just get through it. Did very well. So that's on every Saturday. My Out in America monologues have begun, and we're back in full swing, so you can check that out. Baked. Our baking show, we're waiting to see when we're going to... They're going to move a chunk of them to some other time slot in the midst of all of this Halloween kerfuffle. So we're waiting to see about that. I posted on Facebook, like, if people keep saying we want more baked, and who do we tell to have more baked? We love the show Baked. So I don't know. Go to Facebook, go to whatever. People were saying you should go to Discovery Channel because I don't know what people were saying. People said, well, Discovery bought... Discovery Communications bought all those networks. So I don't know what these people are saying. Like, if you want to, just keep spreading the love of baked, we're going to make more. What more do you want?
Yeah, and Patreon, we got new videos up from my Asia tour.
Nice.
And we got some other cool things. So we're getting some tour videos. I took some videos of the live Come to Papa.
Right. Hold on one sec. All right, and we're back. That was a 3-minute interruption, which to you was the blink of an eye.
Momentary.
Yes, all our Patreon stuff is rocking. So if you want to join and subscribe to the podcast and help us, we really, we started pushing the Patreon thing and getting people to join, and we stopped reminding people about it.
Right.
We still don't have enough subscribers to pay for a good engineer, which is why the last podcast went out and cut out halfway through, and people had to reload it, and then you worry, are they reloading it?
Yeah.
We're a mess, but hopefully with the more subscribers we get, we'll actually be able to bring someone on who can help us.
Yeah, so we'll have some videos of the tour coming up. We have all these cool cities we're going to, and everyone's always asking Where does Tom eat? What bakeries does he go to? What kind of bread does he like? Mm-hmm. And all that kind of stuff. So we'll have some videos and fun stuff to post for you guys.
Very cool. Hey, that reminds me, why don't we go back in the kitchen today? Because I have some sourdough starter that I fed this morning and is up and bubbly and ready to go. Mm-hmm. And I would like to mix it now. So why don't we let's go on the move like we did last week?
Yeah, I don't know if you guys could tell, but we did the podcast 20 feet to the north of where we usually do.
Yeah, we were in a whole nother location.
And feng shui-wise, it worked. Tom had some energy in the kitchen.
Yep. Very nervous today. I don't know if you can hear it in our voice. Why don't you take those stools over there? You get to go home with a bread today if you want one.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah,
cool.
because I've been cranking them out.
Yeah, definitely.
Yankees facing elimination today. That was the most awful playoff experience I think I've ever seen as a Yankee fan. Did you hear that Severino didn't warm up?
Yeah, they're trying to make that a big deal, which sounds like he did think the game was at 8 instead of 7:40.
I was surprised by it. My buddy started texting and saying, like, let's go Yankees and all this stuff, and I was like, it's 4:45 here.
Right.
It's 7:45 back there. And then they're like, first pitch. I was like, wait, aren't they in warm-ups? But I guess because of the TV schedule, they just went earlier.
Well, that's the thing that, like, I'm trying to think. Were you a guy that was, like, nervous about being late for stuff when you were younger?
Yes. Panicked.
So, yeah.
That's why I'm always on time now. It never went away. I don't know why I was that way, but yes.
So, because I was always like that as well, and then when I worked in TV news and everything is exactly on time, and you need every single minute of it, like I used to be driving back from like a basketball game, and I would have to be on TV in 20 minutes. And I'd just be at a stoplight, like, what am I doing? Like, if I got a flat tire right now, there'd be no news. And you go through that, like, worst case scenario thing, and then you run to the edit machine and write your story, and then put your tie on.
Oh my God!
And then you're on TV, and it's just like, well, if I can do this, I can do anything.
Yeah. So what are you saying? How does that relate to Severino?
It's a thing where I guess I got kind of. It never, like, you like to have the butterflies and the nervousness, but like I guess it's, when people ask you, like, do you get nervous before the show? And you're like, well, I just want to do the show. That's the whole thing. As soon as I get out there, I'm fine.
Right.
It's just all the other stuff. So yeah, that's when somebody says, oh, the game's 20 minutes earlier than you thought, or the show is, whenever
you run out there.
For us, you remember there's that one time they're like, oh, the show is 7 instead of 8 or 7:30. That, like, throws us off because we're like, oh man, we got to do everything earlier.
Yeah, no, totally. But I think
he definitely screwed up, is what I'm telling you.
He screwed up.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
But also the coach, it sounds like he wasn't aware of it either.
No, did you see the clip, though? The coach is like,
Getting on
starts at 7:41. Yeah, it was like a mad coach telling the kid, like, hey, get going here.
Right.
And then he went out, and what a debacle. It was horrible. So my prediction, they're going to win tonight. It's going to go back to Fenway for Game 5, and we're going to be working at the Irvine Improv during the show.
Yeah, definitely. And you know what else is Thursday night?
What?
Well, our football New York Giants are playing Thursday night against the defending Super Bowl champs.
Oh, God.
The Philadelphia Eagles.
I tried betting with the Giants this week.
Oh, man.
I bet with them, getting points, and it wasn't enough.
Well, it was a weird football week, but if you don't know, the Giants actually had a chance to win. And, it was that thing where they get the ball with 2 minutes to go, and they're down Oh, they were down 6. So it's like, okay, you have to score a touchdown. So Eli Manning, one of the best ever at 2-minute drill, you know he's going to give you a shot because he's one of those quarterbacks that is so much better when he's just playing like schoolyard sling it and doesn't have the coach telling him 9 different plays or all that kind of stuff. When he can just go out and play, just like Peyton, he goes and usually something good's happened. So he got them all the way down, and he only used 1 minute. And there's a whole minute to go, and then as a Giant fan, you're thinking, our defense is so bad that we are going to lose this game.
And they did, and they lost.
But the craziest thing ever was they actually did hold them decently. They let up 2 big plays, and then you're like, okay, well, they're up by 1 point. Because that's what you're thinking as a Giants fan, too. They score the touchdown. He's going to miss this freaking extra point, and it's going to be tied. But he actually made the extra point, and then Carolina comes down, and they get within, I don't know, just at midfield.
It did not look like they were anywhere near a field goal.
And you're like, there's no way. They stopped him. And then you see they're bringing the kicker on.
Yep.
And you're like, well, this has got to be at least
1,000
60 yards. It ends up being 63 yards. You're like, holy crap, there's no way he's going to make this.
What's the record?
I thought it was like 62 or something.
I thought. But apparently, I guess
it's got to be, one of those like...
Alexa, what's the longest field goal ever kicked?
Matt Trotter kicked the longest field goal in professional football on Sunday, December 8, 2013 at Sports Authority Field at Mile High. He kicked the ball 64 yards.
Oh, man.
64
it's
yards.
A yard away.
Wow.
I was like one of those guys hitting a dome because that Matt Prater guy, he's kind of known for hitting, he plays in Detroit or whatever.
Right.
But, 63 yards, this guy never was anything and kicks at 63 yards and not even close, hit the net. That it could have gone 70.
You know why?
Why?
Because they were playing the Giants.
Oh, I thought you were going to say he's on steroids.
No, because they're playing the stupid New York Giants, who, what's their record now? They've won
1-4.
Good.
And they're playing the Super Bowl champs, who also have a losing record.
Yeah, they're not playing well, but they'll play great on Monday against the Giants.
Thursday, yeah.
Thursday, and if I whichever way I bet, it's going to end up screwing me. All right, so what I just did, the reason we moved into the kitchen.
Yeah, I was gonna say we have to show Tom actually is dual. He's podcasting and baking bread at the same time. He's got his microphone up there. So what are you doing?
I just
you have your yeast there or your flour?
My yeast is over here and has been fed. It's been fed since this morning, and now it's all up and big and bubbly.
Oh, okay.
And it's ready to be used.
Wait, let me see. Wait, it's bubbling?
Yeah, see?
Ooh.
It smells good. So what I did is I took 1,000 grams of flour, which is this great new flour that I'm using from the Central Milling Company in Utah. And this is the first time I'm using this all-wheat malted flour that one of my favorite bakers uses. And it's a 50-pound bag sitting in my kitchen.
So this is Tom's little bread corner of the kitchen.
Yeah.
He gets us 2 big drums of wheat flour.
One of the breads came out this morning that you're going to be able to take home with you.
Oh, nice. Is it a regular one, or were you experimenting?
It's with that flour, but mostly white flour, with just a little of that. This next one is all that new flour.
So this is...
I'm not using any white all-purpose flour at all. I'm using purely this 86 Central Milling 86 malted all-wheat flour, which is weird because, like, usually I'm not even sure what makes it malted, but if you use all wheat, it's very grainy and granular and darker. This almost looks like white flour. So I'm very excited to see how it comes out. So I just mixed all this dough in with 730 grams of water to 1,000 grams of flour. So that's a 73% hydration right now.
So that's going to make one loaf?
It's going to make 2 loaves.
Oh, 2. I was going to say, it looks big.
And so I let that sit for a little, let this flour really soak in the water. And let that sit for about 20 minutes. And then I'll add in this sourdough starter, which is the yeast and a little salt. And then it'll start to ferment and make a bread dough. Pretty exciting, huh?
Yeah, and then you have to do the thing where you put just the dough in the oven, and then you already have the other one made, and then you can just take it right out and say, voila.
Yeah, like the cooking shows. Yeah, I wish. So, yeah, that's my big bin. Yeah, this flour is very exciting. I'm excited to see how this one comes out. This is going to be very interesting.
Did you get that thing?
Yours over there look very good.
Oh, cool.
They came out great.
Oh yeah. So which one are you giving me? Is it a?
You get either one of those.
So these are the 2 breads that Tom wants me to.
Yeah, you get to take home a bread.
Now, which one?
This is
just for you. Which one is better?
The one on the right.
Because
They're going to taste great, but the way I shaped this one, it's a little wobbly. See how it's not perfectly? It's like a little flat on that side. This one was shaped perfectly.
Yeah.
And looks just, this is like something you'd see in a museum, a bread museum.
Right. I remember when we make TV shows, they always have the fake food, and and they always have like a rubber sourdough bread.
Isn't it funny that Bella knows that we're not being normal right now? She's like, the way they're talking, why are they holding those things in their hands? What are they doing? She's a little concerned.
I usually get to relax, and now
Bella and I went for a nice run. Let's go outside. Bella and I went for a nice run today, a 3-mile run. And I have to say, I'm stronger than Bella because Bella is wiped out all day.
She's getting old.
She is getting old. She's like almost 2.
No, I just found like a couple.
This is what I wanted. I wanted an outdoor podcast. Who cares if you hear the plane? Whenever I do a TV show and they always have sound, they're always like, hold, everybody hold, stop. We got to wait for the plane or the garbage truck to go by.
Right.
It's like, we're outside.
Yeah.
That's what happens outside.
Yeah, they're filming the Tarantino Manson movie close to where my apartment is.
He's doing a Manson movie?
Oh, yeah. It's big news, man.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Brad Pitt and DiCaprio, all these guys are in it.
Really? Why isn't Rob Zombie doing that?
I don't know.
Oh, interesting.
Tarantino must have wanted. I guess he wrote the script for like 5 years or something.
Wow.
But it's all old, like 60s Hollywood. So one night they were doing like Hollywood Boulevard just shut down, and they like re-signed everything, like Musso and Franks and all those really old ones that were actually still around.
Right.
They filmed there, and then in my neighborhood they changed all the signs to like old-fashioned ones and stuff. So yeah, it's pretty cool. And they got all the old cars and everything.
I was just at Musso and Frank's.
Is it any good?
It's the best.
I'm trying to think if we...
You got to come with me. Didn't we? No, you came after Boom. Remember when we did Boom and we had that party?
Right. I thought that was one of those places.
Yeah, the 3 of us went over there for dinner after.
Right.
It's a great place. Classic. It's the oldest restaurant in L.A.
Yeah.
And it has, one of those places with all the professional waiters in their red, suits.
Right.
And it's like career waiters, who really care about what they're doing.
Right.
They make an amazing martini where they give you the martini in a normal martini glass and then give you a little extra vodka on the side chilled in ice.
Oh, yeah, I do remember that.
and then their steaks are unbelievable. I really feel like, my wife wants to reinstate date night. We were always very good about that. Like we always had date night once a week. You'd go out, and you kind of have to do it, because if you don't, you're living with this person and you don't really see them.
Right.
Even though you're sleeping in the same bed every night when you're home, you don't really, you got to kind of have time carved out. As corny as it sounds, it's kind of important. So we're debating like what night to bring it back and how to redo it, because we haven't been on that schedule for a long time. But you just talking now about Musso and Frank's makes me think, and this is what I always wanted to do. Not only should date night always be like Monday night, but it should also be only at Musso and Frank's. It should be, you know what I mean? Like every Monday, that's when we go to Musso and Frank's, and everybody there knows you. And and what it does is it creates a sense of community that we're always craving in this world of isolation. And it's not just about the place and whatever. It's you come in and the woman behind the register greets you, and you know the bartender, and you know the other people that pop in there on Mondays, and you know the guy in the parking thing.
Right.
And then you can go do something else after, but that ritual is important.
Yeah.
Have the date night and have it only, when we're in LA, only at Musso and Frank's.
Yeah, I think it's like a...
exciting.
You know what changed is everyone started going out to eat all the time.
Yes.
So it didn't become something special. Like, you shouldn't go to Musso and Frank's every night of the week. You should go, like, a couple times a month.
I'm saying every Monday.
Well, I mean, that's cool, too.
Because it's date night. But no, you're right. And you know what else you didn't do? You didn't order in when you were home. I mean, we cook a lot. We cook most of the time. But then, it's a big to-do, and you're like... that was a funny expression that I literally just heard somebody saying when I was in New York at the Feast of San Gennaro. In Little Italy, they closed the whole Mulberry Street down. And we used to go to that every year. We would go down to New York, and it's all Italians and calzones and all on the streets, this big festival. It's this great thing. So anyway, when I was in New York last, it was happening. So I just walked over there during the day, like during the week, where it was kind of mellow. And I was sitting there eating a piece of pizza next to a guy who was telling his friend a story, and he said to-do, a big to-do, I think 50 times in the conversation. You want to go down there. You don't want to make a big to-do out of it, but, you come here to the festival, and you don't want to make a big to-do out of it. My wife, she's always with the big to-do. We got to come in, we got to go park, we got to do this. It's got to be a big to-do. We got to go see Broadway. I just want to come in and get a cannoli. Is that a big deal? This isn't a big to-do. It's just a cannoli. I was like, I literally wrote it down in my little notepad, because to-do is such a perfect expression.
Yeah.
With the big to-do.
That's, well, the thing, when you're talking about Musso and Frank's, is there any other places that because you had a place like that in New York probably, right? That we
would frequent regularly.
Well, maybe
on
the kids were too little, yeah.
Yeah, we did. We had like a couple places that we would go to more often than not. But not like that, hey, it's Monday.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you're still on the wall at our favorite
I'm not
Mexican place.
I think I've been taken down.
Oh, really?
They repainted and they took all the old stuff off.
I did it's weird. What's the name of that place? It's
Sure. What place?
The Mexican place.
Tony's.
That's named after
Tony's
an
Mexican
Italian
Grill.
person. I always think it's called Frankie's for some reason.
No, it's Tony's. Yeah.
But yeah,
it's the best Mexican food.
And I've had two different people meet me there because that's where they want to eat.
Yeah.
And then
nondescript.
Yeah.
Like no frills dining area.
You have to go through the kitchen to use the bathroom.
Yep. Yep.
There's like no room. I think there's 7 tables. And they serve this great, like, everything there is good. And everything comes with like this kind of dessert. They put like fruit and like yogurt.
Oh, that's great.
Is that what it is? Yogurt?
Yeah, it's like a little
Or is it something else?
dollop of like. Yeah, I don't know if it's pure yogurt. It's a little lighter than that.
Yeah, it's some kind of like dessert they give you no matter what you order. They give it to you, and they always give you tons of chips and salsa.
It's the best.
It's
we just
great.
had it last night. We
yeah?
we ordered it. They deliver. We always have them bring it to us.
Which reminded me, when you were talking about Musso and Frank's, I was in, as you know, I was in Bangkok, Thailand.
We might have to move inside now.
Yeah.
There's a leaf blower.
We have the leaf blowing guy.
Let's go.
He's almost here. Oh, shoot.
This is the one problem with trying to do an outdoor podcast in LA. Everybody has leaf blowers.
Bella's got a stick.
We're a mobile podcast. The family's coming home, but it's the leaf blower drove us back inside. Let's finish the bread.
You know what's great is I have I wonder if I can, I have that wireless mic.
Oh, we have a great idea. We were talking about how we're bringing back date night.
Right.
And we were also talking about our love for Musso and Frank's.
Right.
What if date night was always at Musso and Frank's? Even if, like, you go to a movie, you do something, whatever. But wouldn't it be nice to have, like, your own place, a little ritual, a little sense of community? You go in, it's elegant, we know everybody. They're all like, welcome back, it must be Monday.
Well, why does it have to be Musso and Frank?
Because we love it.
Yeah, but it's hard for a vegetarian to eat there every week. We have to eat.
You don't have to eat there, you just get drunk.
Does Paul come each time?
Well, I went one time, remember?
No, you did.
This is
went
the problem with
for the
marriage.
birthday.
You come up with the best date night ever, and then you can't do it. This is why the Italians end up with a chick on the side. It's like that's the one I take to Musso and
A
Frank's.
gumar.
We go to an actual like Italian place that you get like Italian pasta. You get,
Like Tony's?
yeah. Well, Tony's is Mexican.
That's what we were just talking about.
Paul thinks that it's an Italian guy because his name is Tony.
I thought it was called Frankie's. Well, this was the place that I went. I was in Thailand. I was in Bangkok. For 2 days, I
Watch
stayed
your mouth.
kind of outside the city. And I walked around. There was nothing there except for the biggest restaurant I've ever seen. Like, it was a whole fortress.
Wasn't that
They had security people, everything. And the only thing that was there is this restaurant that had 90 different rooms. Like, there was a whole regular room. There was a room upstairs. There's all kinds of stuff. And
was
you're
this
like,
the shopping mall one?
no. This is just a restaurant. It's the oldest restaurant there. And the menu was like, it looked like the Bible. It was like aged, and they had everything in it. And the guy that greeted you was just the guy that greeted you, but talked to you and brought you around like you were the best customer. Like a bellman at a
That's like
hotel.
Musso and Frank's.
Yeah, and they brought you to the table, and then the captain of that room came up to you and was like suggesting stuff and everything, and then you had a whole team of people. Every time you had a crumb from your bread, would swoop in and sweep it up, and then come back. And like if you had something to drink, they would just fill it up and make sure it was filled every single time. It was almost too much. But it was like, wow, I feel like I'm the president or something.
I didn't know they had a Musso and Frank's in Bangkok.
I got to figure out what the name is, but I went there 3 times in 2 days, and everyone knew me. Like, by that time, it was the
Doesn't that
weirdest
feel
thing.
good?
Yeah, it was like Cheers.
Exactly. I like the idea of a Cheers. I like the idea of going. So I question the location.
You can't do that in any other place.
Oh, the location.
Oh, the classic. It's the oldest place in L.A. Charlie, you know what they ask you when you go there? Do you want to sit in Charlie Chaplin's booth or Frank Sinatra's?
Oh, that's pretty
You know where
cool.
that doesn't happen? Some Italian restaurant in the Valley.
Did I say the Valley?
It doesn't happen at Buca de Beppo.
It doesn't happen at the Olive Garden.
Why don't you, for a new kind of bread, you can include these crickets?
Yeah.
All right.
They did try to sell those in Bangkok, too.
Did they?
Yeah.
Will you watch your mouth? My daughter just got home.
They were seasoned. You never heard of Thai chili? That's what they put on the crickets.
I'm not a big fan of Thai food. It's greasy.
A little, but it was I'm not I'm trying to think what I liked over there.
I have to put the sourdough starter into my little bowl now. So
Tom's weighing
sorry if I'm not
stuff on his
sounding great.
drug dealer scale. So how much you putting
Look
in?
at that sourdough starter. See how it's all bubbly and airy? Stuff's like glue. 200 grams of this stuff. 200 grams. It's a big chunk of it. Then we're going to have some left over.
So that only makes 2?
2 loaves of bread from 1,000 grams of flour. 200 grams of sourdough starter.
Have you ever put extra in there?
Extra starter?
Like a baker's dozen?
A baker's dozen? What?
Just make it a little bit bigger?
Well, what you could do is combine this instead of one giant. I mean, instead of 2 separate loaves, you could make one giant loaf.
You've never done that, have you?
I've not done that.
It sounds like one of those days that we're getting crazy. Maybe that would be Tom's famous recipe. Tom's big
I bet
loaf.
everyone at Musso and Frank's would love it.
Oh, that's what would be amazing. Tom comes in to Musso and Frank on Mondays with his dame on his arm. He's got his fresh loaf of sourdough that the guys at the bar love.
Yep. They're all like, hey, he's back. Did you bring us some bread? Oh, we did. Hey. Cynthia, you're so lucky you got this guy. I can't believe it. My wife would kill for that. Hey. I'm like, hey, that's not Cynthia. Remember, she won't go to Musso and Frank's. I take her to Panzanella's. This is Blanche.
She's my baker's assistant.
This dame wants to sit in the chaplain booth. If you ever see me at the Olive Garden, remember, that ain't Blanche. That's the old ball and chain.
Trying to think, what's the other place you told me about that you order from that's like Mediterranean, kind of like that?
Carnival.
Yes, that
Lebanese
place.
food.
That place feels like everyone there is related. Like anybody who comes in there, like, oh yeah, Susan's over there.
Yeah.
Frank just got in the back.
All Lebanese.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, so you feel a little bit like an outsider. There's a white dude in there.
Yeah. Yeah. I definitely feel like an outsider anywhere I go, except for Ireland and
Except
Utah.
For the Wonder Bread factory.
When we go to Utah, they set everything up for Paul.
All right, now this flour, I'm using 100% of this flour, and you can tell it's going to need more water than normal. This has got to be a disgusting podcast sound.
Now, are you using?
Bring your mic over.
Are you using tap water, or are you?
I use tap water. Good L.A. County tap water.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
Disgusting sound. You don't want to hear that on the podcast. This is good though. This is going.
It smells good.
This is going to be a big experiment.
Now, is the hardest part about baking bread cleaning off your hands after touching that stuff?
Yes. I have dough on me all the time. Like when I'm in meetings and stuff, I'll look down and my fingernails have like hard sourdough starter on them.
You're like one of those guys that's like a painter. It always has the paint on his fingernails.
Yeah, I always have flour on my shoes. Yeah, now this looks good. This is going to be... We might add a hair more water.
Well, at least it's like a normal thing. Like, it'd be weird if you were like a chocolatier and you just always had chocolate all over you. Your wife said ew to chocolate. I don't know.
I'm telling you. No Musso and Frank's, no chocolate.
I said ew because the image of chocolate on you in different bits and pieces doesn't necessarily look good.
You know,
Well, that's what I mean. But you know the guy makes chocolate all the time. That's why he's got chocolate on him, but it might
you know
seem
who
like...
loves it? Blanche. Blanche loves...
I should make my grandmother.
Blanche loves the chocolate that I do.
Yeah, Blanche doesn't sound very sexy.
It's not the sexiest, but for your gal on the side, you're with her for different reasons, Paul. All right, so now we have this dough put into the smaller container where we're going to stretch and fold it.
Wait, you're going to be able to do this? I feel like you need one of those headsets
No, I don't have to do anything now. I just have to wash my hands. So that's it. So now over the next 4 hours, that's going to rise. And we do a technique called stretch and fold where instead of kneading it and beating it, like typically when you would make bread, you would work it, like punch it and roll it and punch it and roll it. That's called kneading. So it builds up its strength. The gluten, it becomes a structure within the bread and firms it up. But this is called a no-knead bread, where you just let it ferment and rise, and you stretch it and fold it about 3 times over 4 hours.
So how much will
and
this
that builds
rise?
enough of the structure for it to turn into a firm dough.
So how far up will this go?
It'll almost double in size.
Okay.
With this dough, though, with this wheat dough, with this wheat flour, it won't rise as much as like an all-white one. We have a good amount of starter in there, so maybe. And that's it. So now, my trick is, it is now in the afternoon, so this will go for 4 hours, and then I put it in the fridge overnight. And it adds to the flavor. It becomes more firm. And then when I wake up tomorrow morning, that's when I'll bake it.
So do the traditionalists, did they say anything about like you keeping the dough in plastic? Shouldn't you keep in like an old stone?
No. The snobs don't care about the plastic. They care about your flour. They'd be very happy that I get my flour from a place that's growing organic wheat in Utah. That'll make them very happy.
Utah flour.
I'm snob-proof. Yeah. So now I have this leftover starter, which I'll put in a mason jar, and that will become the starter that waits for the next bread activity.
Oh, I see. And that never goes bad?
It does go bad. If you don't keep feeding it flour and water, that's a living organism. If that goes bad, it forms alcohol on the top.
Right.
And then that means it's dying. It's running out of sugar to eat.
Mm-hmm.
And it just starts dying off, and that sugar converts to alcohol. It's called hooch. That's what poor people drink on their date nights.
In the 20s.
Yeah. All right, let's go back to the compound. Our work is done.
I think
this was pretty good. We went outside. We made bread. Let's go back to the compound.
Yeah, everyone thinks you're slaving in the kitchen all day. If that was it, I can start doing this.
It's just about preparation.
Yeah.
You just got to prepare for it.
No, it seems really annoying to have all that stuff.
In your kitchen?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a lot of stuff. But you get to take home bread, so it's not so bad.
Well, but you know how to do it now, so like you can kind of like do it anywhere, right? Mm-hmm. Anywhere that you have those ingredients.
Yeah, I could do, as long as I read Lonesome Dove, that book about the West. Mm-hmm. It's a classic book. And I've said this before, I think, on the podcast, but there was a character that would make biscuits for everybody in the morning, and he called it his pot dough. He would keep this. It basically was describing sourdough starter that he kept in his satchel, and from that he would make pot dough.
Oh yeah,
every day, and yeah, he would make the dough from that yeast. And so it's as old as the hills. Yeah,
that's I feel like you should do that with who used to have the Alan King used to have like a martini set up in his briefcase. Like he would open up his briefcase and have the vodka and the mixer and the limes and everything. Like right. I think you should do that with bread when you're on the road. You can have your flour and your two little things. Have an easy bake oven.
Yeah, but you know what's funny? It's like I've cut. Who's in my?
Uh-oh.
Who's that?
I don't know. Is that the new Tesla guy?
Is it say Tesla on it?
I don't think so.
Some big truck just pulled into her. Are they getting out?
It looks like he's got some papers for you, Tom.
Oh, great. They're going to serve us.
But this is the exact opposite of a Tesla, this truck. This is like an old-fashioned diesel.
Oh my God, it's a monster.
This would offend most people who live in L.A. for just pulling in.
What's he doing in my house?
He's got some folders. He's got he seems like a guy who might be at the wrong place and won't find out until he looks up at your address.
Yeah, we don't like intruders here, pal.
Yeah, and yours is a weird angled driveway to just accidentally pull into.
You have to want to go in this driveway.
Like, I'm surprised. I mean, this truck might not make it out of there with the bottom half of the truck.
I stopped by my friend's house just on my way home on a Sunday night. Just knocked on his door. No text, no call, no nothing. Mm-hmm. It was like a home invasion.
He looks like he's getting his book report together and stapling it. And, okay, is he getting out? He's getting out.
He's getting out?
I think so.
Is he coming our way?
Now he's looking at us because we both had the microphones. And he's like, what the hell am I getting? He just unplugged his phone.
Unplugged his phone?
Now he's going around.
I gotta go deal with this.
He looks like a service
guy.
This is electric.
This is the door guy.
Guy.
I think he's a guy that works on doors.
Why? Something wrong with your door?
Yeah, there's a door that needs a lock fixed. It's a big activity. You know, it's so funny when I'm home. It's like all of a sudden you end up with all this stuff to do.
You're high maintenance, Tom. You could have had 3 guys in your driveway working on stuff right now.
I know. I'm just a simple man looking to make some bread. It's so funny, right? It's anybody, you're just like, who the hell's here? No one's coming to the house. No one's expecting anyone at the house. Get out of our house. And then you go online and you give them all your most personal information.
Right.
Then you're just like, whatever you want to take, just take it. I don't care as long as I can get a password and order a book within 24 hours.
Well, unless somebody's carrying food to your door, everyone's pretty suspicious.
Yes, absolutely. It's funny. All right.
So big weekend in Irvine.
Big weekend in Irvine. We're very excited. How long do you keep a laptop before you get rid of it?
I'm kind of dealing with that right now. I got like the lighter Air one. Mm-hmm. And I still have my older one, which I was using to like edit videos because you're like, it's probably not worth that much money.
Right.
But then I think, especially Apple makes it so hard to keep older things.
Yes.
Because it stops working. Mm-hmm. So, yeah,
Put a year on it.
3 years?
Every 3 years you should upgrade. Because part of it is like you can start feeling it getting sluggish, and also with every 5 years is like a quantum leap in what they're doing. This is 5 years old, my laptop.
Like if you had a 5-year-old phone, it wouldn't even work, I don't think.
Yeah, exactly. This thing is kind of it's still doing okay, but I can feel like it's getting ready to crap out in a very crucial moment.
Right.
5 years, someone did a thing, if anybody has math skills, I think the Wall Street Journal had an article about a very expensive handbag. Uh-huh. It was like a $10,000 handbag, something like that, or a $20,000. And they said, but, this is a rich person's article, but if you use that handbag every day for 10 years, it would only cost you $3 a day.
Oh, God. That's what takes you down now. I just did a whole wave of like selling. I sold some shoes. Got rid of some clothes. Got rid of a few things, and it feels so much better. I feel like weight has been lifted.
Yes, it was a big dump. You got rid of a lot.
Yeah, and it's like some of the stuff was worth, because there's all kinds of things like, oh, this was expensive, or I need to use this more. And it's almost like a burden. Like if you bought that handbag, you would feel like you have to use it every day.
Yeah.
And then you're nervous because it's worth so much. It's like a watch.
So say this laptop, this MacBook Air, 5 years ago cost me $1,500.
Yeah.
Which is probably close. Maybe $1,300, maybe $1,200, something like that. 5 years breaks down to 82 cents a day.
Right.
That's a good value. Right?
Right.
For the amount of work you generate out of your... This is my only computer in the world.
Right.
That's pretty great.
Yeah. Well, my buddy was saying, my friend worked for IBM, and it was like during... Remember there was like... You're getting your laptops, and then they just kept making them bigger and bigger and bigger with more and more memory.
Yeah.
And the screens are like, almost 20 inches.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, yeah, they're just going to keep making them bigger. He's like, nope. He's like, they're all going to get smaller. He's like, that's what they'll convince you that you want something smaller. And that's exactly what they did. They're down to the ones they're making now. It's just called MacBook.
Yeah.
And it's smaller than the iPad, and there's no inputs or anything. It's just a keyboard.
Smaller than the iPad?
Yeah. Like weight-wise. It's like, it's about the same size as the iPad on the screen side, maybe a little smaller, but then it's just this tiny keyboard, and that's it.
I only use this. This is for writing. I don't watch movies on it.
Right.
At first, I didn't want to put the internet on it, but of course, you need it for research and stuff like that. But I was like, this is not going to be a thing I'm going to store my library on and all that other stuff.
Okay.
It's just going to be a work thing. So I would be dedicated and make myself only write when I pulled this bad boy out. And it has been that, and it's an 11-inch MacBook Air. It's super light.
Yeah.
It's really all I needed. And
you wrote your book on it.
Yeah, you can't get the 11-inch anymore. You got to go a little bigger. So I'm hoping it's still light.
The one I got was 10.3 MacBook Air. That's the one I just got.
Just got it
before I left for Iraq because I wanted the smaller one, and I got because they told me I got the iPad Pro, and they told me I could do everything on there, but it uses the phone operating system, so there's all kinds of stuff you can't use. So I sold that one for, I think I bought it for $8, and I sold it for $5. So that's like a pretty good return. I think that was 2 years old.
Yeah, I could sell this bad boy.
Yeah, you can still sell it.
All right, before we leave, a lot of people say that, I guess I'm going to get a new one. A lot of people say, you guys are really funny, you're comedians. How come you don't know any, real jokes? And we don't really know a lot of jokes because...
That seems like an insult if they said that.
It is kind of an insult. It's kind of rude.
Why aren't you guys nicer?
And so then this is a section of the podcast where we like to tell you some dumb jokes and let you be satisfied the comedians told you jokes, even though they're horrible. What did the little fish say when he swam into a wall?
What did a fish say when he swam into a wall?
Damn.
See, I feel like I could Ed McMahon and help you out a little bit more.
That got you. I can tell when you're really laughing. Oh, this is a classic. What kind of bees make milk instead of honey?
Boobies.
Yes, from the third grade archives. Beautiful. Why does Snoop Dogg carry an umbrella?
Because there's drizzle.
Faux drizzle. Oh, it's so nice that we're moving into fall, isn't it? Even here, you're waking up, it's a little cooler.
Yeah, it's still a little warm, though.
It's still warm during the day, but it cools off pretty quick.
Yeah, I've been...
It's nice.
Well, yeah, it's the weird thing about... you start seeing the Halloween costumes, and then they do have the Christmas stuff deep in the...
It's already creeping out.
The extra aisle has the Christmas stuff in it. It's like, man, this year's almost gone.
My daughter demanded we break out all of the Halloween decorations and really start going to town this weekend, so I took her to Pier 1, which is one of her favorite places to go because an adult store with fancy things that lean towards the holidays. This is her mind.
Oh my God.
And
you got to take her to Target.
there was a big Christmas section already.
Pier 1? I think you're the only person that that's ever shopped there.
Paul, if you had daughters. Horse walks into a bar. Bartender says, "Why the long face?" These are pretty bad. All right, a couple more, and then we're going to get out of here because we have our lives to live. We've got cinnamon sticks to cook on the stove.
You got stuff baking.
This is one for your kids, Paul, wherever they are. Why was Tigger looking in the toilet?
For poo.
That's right. For poo.
Why would he look for poo?
It's his friend.
These are all disgusting.
His friend is Pooh. Tigger's friend is Winnie the Pooh. Did you crack that joke and you didn't even realize why?
No, but I'm saying, why would he be looking in the toilet for his friend when he would actually find
He knew.
feces?
No, because he had heard. Because Pooh said he was going to the restroom and then he never came out.
Oh.
So Tigger went in there looking for him.
So you're going to try to rationalize this make-believe scenario into...
I don't know why you're calling it make-believe. It's on the internet.
The CSI case?
All right, one last one. It's a little religious. I don't mean to be controversial. I don't mean to offend anybody by this joke. We here at Come to Papa love everyone. This isn't an offensive joke, but I know in these sensitive times, this kind of thing can be kind of racy.
Uh-oh.
How does Jesus make tea?
How does Jesus make tea?
He brews it.
Because he's Jewish, right?
Hebrew.
Yeah.
He brews it. All right, that's it. That's it for another installment of Horrible Jokes. We hope you guys have a great week. Once again, go to paulsawebsite.com, look up all the great stuff that Paul's got going on. Go to Patreon and subscribe. You may even get some bread.
Yeah, we'll get some bread videos up there so they can see how you make it.
Yeah, and also we should send some bread out to some people.
Yeah.
To the subscribers, as they say in Long Island. A subscriber. And Paul and I at the Irvine Improv this weekend, Thousand Oaks, we're doing a little run here in Southern California, and then we blast across the country to Kansas City, Dallas, Austin, Boise. We're all over the place.
Yeah, Texas people, if we...
Oh, I'm sorry to interrupt, but next Wednesday, live Coming to Papa in New York City.
Nice.
And then we're doing that gig in Coral Springs, Florida, before we go to Thousand Oaks. We got to go east to come back.
For Crohn's
west.
disease. It's a big deal, man.
Yeah, crumb disease.
Crohn's.
Oh, I thought it was crumbs.
No.
Oh.
We're helping people, Tom.
Oh.
But Texas, I think this is our first time in Texas. We're hitting every major city. So if you have friends in Texas, tell them to come see us. We got Texas, Dallas, San Antonio, and Austin, I think.
We got to get cowboy boots.
Yeah, I have a rock and roll cowboy shirt, I think. I got once.
All right. This is it. We're coming to the end of the year, guys. It's almost Christmas.
Yeah.
So you know what to do.
This might be the last podcast of the year. We just do our Happy New Year.
Enjoy your life.